Hey, so I was looking through the Dungeon Master's Guide for a bit of direction on what sort of things to put in a tavern, and I got nothing. There is next to nothing in this entire book about how to make the most important location in D&D. So then I checked Xanathar's. Maybe he knows, but he knows not. So I checked Waterdeep Dragon— wait, I don't have that book. So I sat there in my squeaky gamer chair, with my pants unbuttoned and Cheeto dust on my fingers, dumbfounded. Then I thought to myself, what if I did a sponsored World Anvil ad for a quick moment and then made a guide myself? That's right, you goons, you've been tricked. World Anvil is my favorite platform for making your solar systems, planets, continents, cities, and taverns. You can make articles as simple or as in-depth as you want and post it for other people to see, or keep it to yourself. The thing I find myself going back to the most is the interactive map system. This thing was made to be as perfect and easy to use for dum-dums like me. Everything you need to run a campaign is right here for you, like timelines, quick access to article groups like NPCs, plotlines, or PCs, or locations, creatures, and items. It's just a beautiful sandbox of stuff. And if you like it enough to get a membership, use code RUNE for 20% off the whole thing. The link below works too. Thank you, World Anvil. Alright, now drop that anvil on the head of a coyote, crack your fingers, and get ready to take some notes. Step 1. As with all things on this godforsaken rock of fire, we have to ask ourselves, why does this thing exist? And follow-up question, why do people go to Arby's? Both start with the same simple answer that we get to unpack. Mankind am hongi, and everybody's tired, and nobody understands how to make things. So the one guy that actually notices this throws together a wooden box, fills it with what people want, and then keeps adding to it so people stick around and give them all their money. Good, now you know everything about how business works. Let's build some examples. Shop comes first, so I can be a lazy asshole and combine the tavern with the inn. I'm gonna draw using GIMP because money is hard to spend and Photoshop is as confusing as the control panel of an Airbus A380. Step 1. Make box. This box equals building. Step 2. Make a back room and a counter. We need a backstock and safety from the barbarians who think our prices are too high. I'm gonna pull out the addition card already and have my back room be built as an add-on. You gotta spend money to make money, and have money to spend money, and we're not hiring anybody, so that doesn't help solve the problem. Now that we have all that basic shit, let's look at the one resource given to us by the DM's Guide. On page 114, Random Shops. Now what's our funny little shopkeeper actually gonna be good at? Wait, here, I'll draw him. Actually, you know what? Screw that table. This guy makes marmalade and jam. He stocks his shelves, makes some crazy sales, and then thinks to himself, what if I sell 2 things instead of 1? And then he picked 5 things to diversify his portfolio and avoid bankruptcy. Adventurers and noblemen come by this place a lot, so he hired a blacksmith and a jeweler to stock his shelves. Throw in a tanner there who makes leathers, and now you've got armor too. He also figured out how to make pie. Now we have a shop run by an NPC, which you can make using my old ass video. This guy sells fruit preserves and pastries by passion, armor, weapons, and jewelry by demand. As a rule of thumb, if you want to delve this deep, for each 10 square feet there should be 5 square feet of goods, and the back room should have double that. In this
20-foot by 20-foot square
shop, with a 1-space back room, he should be able to fully stock 3 to 4 adventurers with armor and weapons. For precious goods, make it somewhere around a D4 of low-rate jewelry. If a backpack takes up a square foot and can carry up to 30 pounds, then he should have somewhere between 90 and 120 pounds of rations. Of course, all of it is marmalade. Lastly, we fill out a form and make this a limited liability company titled Mumble & Murray's Homemade Marmalades, Silvered Blades, Upgrades, and Hand Grenades. He also has 1 hand grenade behind the desk. Taverns are tougher. Instead of goods, we have to offer good times. I'll outline the basics and then guide you through populating it with points of interest for the players. A well-built tavern is as interesting as an open desert if there's nothing to do and no one to talk to. As an insert here, if you want a franchise, just copy and paste the layout in a few towns and have different owners and very, very depressed servers. Now step 1 for your tavern, again, is a box. Except I fooled you again, it isn't even a tavern, you idiot, it's a
wine cellar.
We're making a big one from top to bottom, but smaller taverns and saloons just had the beer wall, where they sold flat, warm beer and rot gut. Let's make this cellar just like a back room, where it's smaller but fully packed with bosoms. I'll make it 15 feet big, 5 feet deep, with a stairwell right here. Beer, wine, water, a mimic. Done. Now moving back up the stairwell, we make the main room, which has to be a little bit larger, so let's do a
50 foot by 35 foot.
floor space. Naturally, we have to add a back room and another counter. Now let's fill it with chairs and give it an owner and a name. To cut through the NPC process, I'll make a jovial pot-bellied man named Grumbus. His wife, who makes food behind the counter, is Palimbo, and his 3 gorgeous daughters, Figo, Figo, and Fungo. For names, Fantasy Name Generator is really fantastic, but I like giving the name a story. Grumbus got this tavern in a flaming arm wrestle against the devil Asmodeus himself, so we'll call it The Tavern I Got in an Arm Wrestle from the Devil. Like, I'm not even kidding. Pub, grub, and boarding. Thing is, it's empty here, because Grumbus didn't do any marketing and he doesn't objectify his daughters. Investing a few more coins and knowing the market, he put a big box on top of his box, and then put a bunch of barriers between parts of it and added beds so people could sleep, tell secrets, get killed, and fuck really hard. Then he went around, took everyone's now hiring and help needed requests, and put everything on a little corkboard so people had to come here to do pretty much anything. Oh, and he also blew up his rival's tavern. Boom, we got people. Ideally, for each tavern adventurers enter, you need something along the lines of the following cliches. A quest board with 1 plotline on it and 1 side quest. Either a retired hit woman with a giant scar on her face, or a grumpy town guard, to provide some tension and mystery. Either an overdressed elf or a tall man in a dark cloak who have nothing to do with the story, so the players can mess with them until they get mad. 2d6 people from the same faction, or 4d8 halflings on a school field trip. 1 to 2 drunk guys who will accept any challenge, even ones no one asked them to do. A fortune teller, a bard singing too loud in the corner, and a grifter playing a game someone is proficient with. Then we have 10d6 rats or a single cockroach in someone's salad. And lastly, the adventurers. Okay, I'm done. That wasn't really helpful at all. I'm so sorry.